Labour MP Richard Burgon has urged the Department for Work and Pensions (DWP) to commit to reinstating the disability cost of living payment this winter and also increase it to a level that meets the extra living costs faced by disabled people. The MP for East Leeds raised the question in Parliament on Monday after highlighting how disabled people are more likely to live in poverty. Mr. Burgon said, "It is absolutely heartbreaking that in the world's sixth richest country we now have 4 million people living in destitution. We know that disabled people are more likely to live in poverty, yet this winter disabled people will not be getting any additional help with the cost of living after the separate disability cost of living payment was quietly dropped. The cost of living for disabled people is still going up, so will the Secretary of State commit to reinstating the payment, and at a level that meets the extra living costs faced by disabled people?" Secretary of State for Work and Pensions, Mel Stride MP, responded that he was unaware of an additional disability payment being quietly dropped. He continued, "The cost of living disability payment has been paid this year, in addition to the increase in the national living wage, tax cuts and national insurance tax cuts, all of which help people, particularly those on low pay. That is why, under this government, the level of absolute poverty has fallen by 1.7 million since 2010, with 400,000 fewer children in poverty. As far as the Daily Record is aware, the separate disability cost of living payment Mr. Burgon claims was quietly dropped has never been in the frame. There have been petitions and calls from charities and opposition MPs for further support for disabled people, but all suggestions have been rejected. Most recently in November, the Work and Pensions Committee called on the UK government to consider widening the eligibility for future cost of living payments and to take more account of the financial difficulties faced by people with disabilities and families. The cross-party group of MPs said cost of living support payments have not been enough to meet the scale of the problem and offer only a short-term reprieve for many people. Its report said, "We are particularly concerned that the additional support offered to those with disabilities was only £150 per year, and we recommend that this particular support be increased in proportion to the costs that people with disabilities incur." The recommendations follow an inquiry examining the package of support introduced to protect people claiming benefits from the effects of rising energy prices and inflation. After receiving nearly 2,000 survey responses from those with first-hand experience of cost of living payments, the committee said it acknowledges the important impact the payments have made and the speed of distribution. However, the report argued that any future cost of living support payments should take account of family size, while financial support for those with disabilities should be increased in proportion to the additional costs they incur. It also suggested the UK government considers operating universal credit, instead of issuing payments. Get the latest Record Money news. Join the conversation on our Money Saving Scotland Facebook group for energy and money saving tips, the latest benefits news, consumer help and advice on coping with the cost of living crisis. Sign up to our Record Money newsletter and get the top stories sent to your inbox daily from Monday to Friday, including a special cost of living edition on a Thursday. Sign up here. You can also follow us on X, formerly Twitter, at @RecordMoney_ for regular updates throughout the day. Join the Daily Record's WhatsApp community here and get the latest news sent straight to your messages.